What's going on, everyone? It's time for another horror film anthology film review. Today, we're going to be talking about VHS 85. Now, it's been a long time since I talked about a anthology horror film. The last one I did was Holidays, like for Easter, way back, like 8 months ago or so. And yeah, today we're going to talk about VHS 85. Now, I think I've only reviewed like the first one and first two, I think. VHS is a long time ago, so like a couple years ago. So let's get started. VHS 85 was released, it's a Shudder original, and it was released September 22nd, 2023. Now, I'm going to break this down into the way the films are. So, sort of. I'm going to try my best to do this. So, um, yeah, so first we'll start with the wraparound. The wraparound is a fake documentary that was found on a videotape in the 80s that where scientists are studying a blob that has human characteristics a bit, and actually there has like ways to communicate with us. So they start researching it. And among this videotape, there are some other stories that were taped over it, and yeah, you get to see it. The first, so yeah, the first one is a group of college kids go on a camping trip and start getting picked off one by one by a killer, unseen killer, and they slowly get slaughtered, and they're not sure who's doing it or what, and then they go and they find um they end up accusing each other of it and stuff. More of a thriller than a horror theme there. The second one is in Mexico or Chile or something like that. There's an earthquake, and this news crew has to go and find their way out. But lo and behold, they find an old ancient temple underground with a evil god that's ruling it and takes control of them and controls them like zombies. That one I think is called Nogard, directed by Natasha Kermani, who did films like Lux, Shutter, Imitation, and Atlas Earth. Then there was also the wraparound, and I believe the first one was directed by Mike P. Nelson, who is the director of The Domestics, Wrong Turn 2021 remake, Summer School, and All Things Fall Apart. Now, I do have a review of Summer School on here if you want to check that out. The third one is a weird sci-fi show showing off technology held by some like gypsy woman who talks about this new mask that can happen, which ends up frying people and stuff. No, so the second one's Got a Death Story. That one's no god. But then there's Got a Death that was directed. The second one, Got a Death, was directed by Gigi Salgazaro, who did Bingo Hell, Gornos, Mexico, Culture Shock, and Funhouse. Then you go to the fourth story, which wraps around to the first one, which is a group of you're hanging out with a group of cult members that have 7 tattooed on the wrist, and yeah, what they have to do is kill 7 people to join the cult and live with, like, it's a family in the cult, so they adjust for their names and stuff like that. And yeah, so it goes on and on for them to shoot. And so it's been going on for generations. One girl gets it, so she videotapes it, and it's actually the videotape of her killing the people in the first story. And yeah, it was really cool how they did that. I really like that aspect of it. And yeah, and then eventually the police come and raid the house. The final one is directed by Scott Derrickson, the director of Sinister, Sinister 2, The Black Phone, Doctor Strange, and Deliver Us from Evil. It's called Dream Kill. And basically the kid thinks he's having dreams, and he but they show up on this videotape, so he mails it to the police, and he eventually gets caught, and it turns out it's him and his dad doing the killings and stuff. It's a good thriller, very brutal and raw. It felt like an older like thrillers like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer has that feel to it, but done in more of like a sinister style. And that, I thought that one was definitely the strongest out of it, and the opening one was very strong. The one where the the cult members kill 7 people and stuff like that was cool too. But overall, I thought it was, for the most part, this whole anthology was amusing. I loved the ending of the wraparound too in this. And yeah, so for the most part, it was a decent anthology film. It has some pretty interesting and um, unique shorts in it. And now some of this might not be for everyone. And also, I like how they also like mixed in a little bit of like Spanish horror in with this as well, and do something a little different that way. But it's not like up to the par as VHS 2. VHS 2 is by far so far the best one I've seen. And all those stories are top notch and amusing. This one has some, like, I wasn't really big into like the God of Death one or the Gadget one. I thought it was a little hokey and cheesy. The wraparound is very cheap looking, so that might throw some people off. And but the ending is so hilarious and stuff like that. It's very tongue in cheek, which might throw some people off. If you're looking for a solid, like, scare you movie, this isn't it. This is more like have fun and just enjoy the ride that they take you on with all these interesting stories. Now, it's not as complex as some of the older ones, though, which is disappointing. The effects and stuff are pretty good throughout, and overall, I thought it was decent. And I love how they actually have like the actual physical grainy look to it and stuff. It's not like a cheap filter that they put on or anything like that. Overall, I thought VHS 85 was an amusing film, and it was entertaining, but it's not going to be for everyone for sure. And but with like some of the weak entries in that, I think it kind of like is in the middle for what I'm going to give it. So I'm going to give this a 3 and just a 3 out of 5. It was good, but overall, I still think the first two are still the strongest out of the ones I've seen. Now, I haven't seen Viral or 99 or whatever it is, the other two. So I might review those later on too. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. But yeah, that's what I thought of VHS 85. It was okay. So some of them are okay, some of them are pretty inventive and cool, and overall I love how it was shot. And yeah, definitely embodies the 80s and stuff. Not as unrealistic and corny like some of the movies from the 80s. It embodies like the 80s stuff. So yeah, overall, it was decent enough. So if you want to check it out, I'll link the trailer down below so you can check it out. It's also on Shudder if you have that. You can watch it on there through Prime. And yeah. Also, make sure you check out my Instagram. That's linked down below. That's where I always post clips of films and review in the future. All my stories are the film time, hashtag something on film, and a hashtag so you're aware of it. Also, my letterbox is down below at JP Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating after watching the films. And my Twitter's down below at reviews_Derek. So follow me on those platforms. Stay in loop with this channel. Like this video, share it to more people aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. Like I said, if you want me to do the rest of the VHS franchise, let me know in the comments down below. And also, if you have any films or film franchise in any genre and on any streaming service, and you want to hear my opinions on the future, comment those down below too. Which I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. Make sure you subscribe. Hopefully we'll find something weird, obscure, and odd that you probably never thought of checking out together. And also, so hear my opinions on popular films, some classic films, and reviews on other things as well. And don't forget to ring that bell because, well, I think I might check out Autopsy of Jane Doe for the next one. So make sure you tune in for that. And yeah, watch out for all those crazy killers who videotaped themselves in the 80s that are still lurking around. And I guess I'll see you all in the next one. So until then, cheers.